This is the second time a charm I forgot to tap record. Oh, what a day. It sums it up, really. The leadership election results came through. The most boring leadership campaign in living memory. Keir won, of course, as we all know. As you know, I wanted a woman leader, Rebecca Long Bailey, but that wasn't to happen. I hope one day that the Labour Party will elect a woman leader, because I believe it's very important that we don't look very embarrassed when it comes to the Tories saying, we've done two, you've done none, when it comes to electing women leadership within our party. But the thing is this, I will give Keir the benefit of the doubt. I have some concerns, but he's democratically elected and we've got to back him to become the next Prime Minister as soon as possible. And I hope he sticks to his pledges, because if he does, he'll have no problem from me. If he doesn't, well, of course, I'm going to dispute his promises and make sure he does carry them out at some point, because I believe it's very important. And I've looked at his speech, he said his victory speech, and I think he's beginning to understand, and the penny's dropped in some cases, when he talks about a different type of society than the one we have just left. I think he's recognised, and I think in some more moderate conservatives even, recognise that we can't go back to neoliberalism and the type of politics of the past. That we need to recognise our heroes in the public sector and in the private sector who are keeping it all together while the rest of us are having to lock down and stay indoors. And they've been keeping it going. Congratulations to all of them. Bus drivers, nurses, doctors, care workers, street cleaners, refuse collectors, all those people who are keeping our country sane and sound. Absolute big respect. And they need to be considered in future when there is a vote about pay. We don't have a situation where one half of the bloody Commons is laughing at it as they were being defeated on their pay grade. So we need to have that fundamental change, and I'm pleased that Keir said he does recognise that we cannot go back. I'm hoping he will go at least to the Keynesian model and use that method of paying down what will be a considerable debt at the end of this, rather than trying to introduce a further round of austerity that would actually cripple the rest of the country. And quite honest, if the pandemic returned, we would all be dead, because we would not have the resources and the capability to resist once again. So on that, best of luck to Keir and Angela Rayner. At least we got a woman deputy leader. She's a decent person. Met her on a couple of occasions. A friend of hers is one of my committee members on the UK Stress Network, and she used to be her branch secretary. So she seems to be a reasonable person who likes to get the old sleeves up and get stuck in. So it would be interesting to see have a deputy leader that actually going to do some work, unlike the Watson, who actually did everything to upset every bugger. So that could be a very good positive on that. And the other thing, we're all locked down. We need to do that. And this is the only occasion I'll ever say I back Boris on the issue of trying to get rid of this virus. And we must do everything we can not to go out and not to do stupid things like I've seen on Twitter and Facebook, where there are parks in Haringey, where I live. There are kids and grown-ups in groups. That needs to the hammer put on that and put a stop to it, because that's not going to help anything whatsoever. We need to make sure this lockdown works and is effective, and whatever length of time it takes, we've got to do it. It's very important that we win this war. And it is a war of such, a war against a virus that could wipe out the whole planet, all humankind, unless we get a grip now. My other concern is the people in other parts of the world who don't have the resources we have. Even though we're up against it, they have nothing. In Gaza, in other parts of the world where they don't have a proper health care provision, we need to do something to assist them while we're assisting ourselves together, because they get healthy, we will stay healthy. We are one planet now, and that's one thing that people need to remember in the future. Whatever happens to one end of the planet can happen to the whole planet. So we need to remember that. And by the way, I like breathing clean air for a change in London. It's really good. I think we should try and look at the ways in which we do things in the future so that we can actually keep some clean air in London for a change. Anyway, on that happy note, I hope you have a nice Easter, indoors of course, or in the garden if you've got one. Bye.